So over the weekend, I came across this html2canvas library, which allows us to generate screenshots of a browser window or portions of the browser window, i.e. DOM elements within that browser. And this seems like a really powerful library, and as an experimentation to learn about how it works, I wanted to see if I could create meme images of the "This is fine dog" directly within the browser using Angular 9. So the idea here is that this image is sitting here all the time in this DOM node, and here I have a content editable div which allows me to come in and edit this text, and then the user just clicks the generate meme. That will pass this entire DOM node with the image and the text off to the html2canvas library, which resolves asynchronously with a canvas object. We then use that canvas object to paint the image to the bottom of the window. So let's do that. And there you go. So this is a image here, and you can see I can drag it around as a whole item. I can change this. Let's say deploying on Friday at 4:59 p.m. Generate. There we go. So you can see we have both of our images here, and we could of course, save this image, and everything works quite nicely. It's super easy to use. Let's take a look at the code. So if we jump over into the browser, html2canvas, at least at the time of this, seems to be TypeScript ready, which makes it very seamless, very effortless to pull into my Angular 9 application. I'm just importing the html2canvas library from html2canvas. And if we look at my app component here, here is my meme class. It has the image, that's the "This is fine dog," and here is the content editable div. So this is the text here that we're editing in the browser. Then when I click generate meme, we call this method, and we jump down here. What you can see is that I grab the target element, that's this meme that contains both the image and the text. I then pass that target off to the html2canvas method, which does asynchronous work, and we'll talk about what this stuff is doing in a second. Eventually it resolves with the canvas element that has the DOM node programmatically painted onto it, and then I'm just grabbing the toDataURL method, which essentially converts the canvas bitmap data into a data URL, which we can then use to render image tags, and that's what we're doing right here. We're looping over those generated memes, and we're using that URL data to render the source property of the image. Now, I did run into a couple of little hurdles with the html2canvas library. First being that if you're scrolled down in the browser, the generated canvas tends to get clipped in a very weird way, which is why I programmatically scroll the user back to the top, which we'll see here. Like if we come in here and I click the button, we jump to the top, and then we jump down to the generated image. And by scrolling up to 0, 0, we get a more consistent image generation on that canvas. The other issue that I was finding is that the vertical alignment of this text was changing a little bit. It was a little bit askew in the generated image. So in order to counteract that, I'm hooking into the onClone callback, which essentially gives me the clone document prior to this screenshot generation. And I'm going into that clone document and I'm adding this html2canvas class. And if we jump over into my less CSS file, what we can see is that the html2canvas class is essentially just taking that caption CSS and changing the padding. So here the padding is 18 and 22 on the top and the bottom respectively in the user's version, and I'm slightly bumping it up 2 pixels using 16 and 24 pixels respectively, and that's just to make sure that the generated image has roughly the same vertical alignment as the image that the user is seeing in the browser. But other than that, I mean, this is essentially the entire code to generate that screenshot of the DOM node. I mean, it's basically no work on my part, and somehow magically the html2canvas is able to turn this DOM node into a PNG image, which is just, I don't know, excitingly easy. I'm already noodling on on some ways that I can use this library for great good in my other work. But yeah, anyway, very exciting and exciting to see Angular 9 finally at a final release. So enjoy.